Okay, we're on. Welcome to the Core Brew Show. As promised, well, better late than never, I am here with the series of decoding each component of the spec sheet of a device that you need to buy. Well, today we'll be focusing on processors, CPUs, and Intel specifically because there will be another specific video for AMD, otherwise, it will be too long and too complicated to understand. So, grab your cup of coffee and let's get started. Okay, for this segment, if you catch me looking down or up or maybe anywhere else other than the camera, I am looking at my own notes that I made for this video. Yeah, I'm not that great at memorizing, so I do take a lot of takes. So, here we have a processor right on the screen. It's the specific Intel i5 13500H. It's the same processor that I have in my own laptop. It is a great processor, really good value for money. So we'll break down the name into a few very simple steps. First, we have the Core i5. Then we'll move on to the rest. The Core i5 here indicates the tier. We have different tiers when it comes to laptop processors, PC processors basically. We have got the i3, i5, i7, i9. Performance tiers, higher the number, better the performance. As simple as that. i3 is great for entry level work, some basic emails, light browsing, or some school work. Perfect for that. i5 is the perfect balance between performance and money because it can basically do everything that the i3 is capable of. It can also do a lot of the things that the i7 or now you know what, I won't stretch it to i9. It can do a lot of things even the i7 can do. Maybe not as good as that, but it's the perfect balance because I have been using it since 2019. Two different laptops, but still stuck to the i5. But where did the difference come? That part is right after the i5. You can see 13500H. Now, why am I reading it as 13500H instead of maybe 13500H or maybe 13500H, 13500H? That is my trick to identifying a processor. So it can be divided into three parts. Right after the i5, the number and the letters you see, 13500H, can be divided into three specific parts. The first part is the 13 right here, which indicates generation. As simple as this, 13, 13th generation. If it's 8, it's 8th generation, quite an older device. If it's 10, 10th generation. And I don't know, I'm not sure, but we might be at the 14th or the 15th generation right now. I haven't really checked out a lot of new laptops. Quick sip. Next, as usual, well, generation does indicate an increase in number of features. So it's always more efficient if you get the newer generations because there needs to be a good compatibility between the performance of the chip and also an efficient battery life. That is really important for laptops. Next, we have the SKU number, the stock keeping unit number. I, I won't be explaining much about the SKU number. It's as simple as this. Bigger the number, better the performance. As simple as that. 500, good. 250, lower than that. 700, even better. I don't know if 900 exists or not, but higher the number, better the performance. More features, better performance. That's it. It's basically the fine tuning of that particular processor. It helps you identify what the chipset is exactly capable of. And last part is personally my favorite part about, identifying the processor. This is where a lot of salespeople will mess with you, just like one did with me in 2019 because I had no idea what the last part meant. My previous laptop was an i5 8250U, right? Now there's basically four tiers of performance when it comes to the suffix, the last letter. First, we have U, that is ultra low power. This is best for battery life, but performance wise, it is the lowest. You can handle a lot of basic work just like my previous laptop did. It was a touchscreen, so it was more like those business laptops. You didn't have a lot of heavy work to do on it. But lockdown came and I had to do a lot of gaming and I was dependent on my phone because that idiot sold me a U series chipset. But it's not a bad thing, it depends on the user. If you are looking for an office laptop or a business laptop, then U series is good enough for you because it gives a great battery life. just like I mentioned a few minutes ago, that you need a good ratio between battery and performance. Next, we have the P series. It's the sweet spot for those thin laptops, those sleek laptops, where you are not using it for a really high performance thing or a really low performance thing. You're just somewhere in between. Light work, documents, editing, and light stuff. P series is good enough for you. Although it is not a really common processor these days. I don't see a lot of P series processors in laptops these days. Next, my personal favorite, the H series, high performance. High performance, the name says it all. Good for a bit of gaming, a bit of video editing, any sort of high caliber work that you need to do on your laptop. H series is the one made for you. Next, we have HX or HK, high performance unlocked. These are a bit rarer on normal commercial laptops because the unlocked part means that you can go above the clock speed. The clock speed is really high performance, but you might find it in those big, bulky gaming laptops. Normal laptops, it's a very rare thing, so you don't have to mind that. Keep an eye on the U, P, and H. That's it. For desktop CPUs, we have a different set of suffixes. You have the K, the unlocked. This means this chip is unlocked for overclocking. Now, normal chipsets, they have set a limit through the software into how hard you can push the hardware of the CPU. But K, you can push it out to its limits. F requires discrete graphics. Now, a lot of these chipsets do have integrated graphics, like the one that I am using, or basically any laptop that you can find these days. If it does not have a dedicated NVIDIA chipset, it does have Intel integrated graphics. But the F series processors, they do not. And these are only for desktop CPUs. Remember, you won't find these in laptops. The KF unlock and requires discrete graphics. So it is capable of overclocking, but at the same time, you need a dedicated GPU, a graphics card, in order to run that processor into your desktop. T is power optimized. Consider this the U series of desktops. Smaller PCs, smaller form factors, not too heavy, just maybe need it for a school or something like that. You know those PCs in schools, they don't need to be too big or too powerful. Now, Core Ultra. We done with the I series. You know what? I'll take a break. Okay, I ran out of breath and I did have to reheat my coffee. I didn't take a lot of sips throughout the entire clip. Okay, so a while ago, Intel has had reset its. My god, damn. Yeah, it's that automatic room freshener that just scared me. Yeah. So Intel just revamped its entire lineup of processors for the newer PCs with two series this time, the Core and the Core Ultra. The Core is for normal mainstream laptops just like the i series, but the Core Ultra here's the main twist. Now, a lot of laptops, devices, pretty much everything has been integrating AI. Even I have been using a lot of AI these days. So the Ultra processors are making their attempt at integrating AI into the newer devices, which brings us to a new component this time, the NPU, Neural Processing Unit. This, think of it like a separate brain or separate engine that is made just to handle all the AI tasks. The normal CPU handles the regular work, just like the normal core processor, the mainstream one, and even the I series processors. But the NPU is dedicated for the AI, so that that extra load does not fall upon your mainstream performance, your main performance that does not really require AI. If I don't really need AI while recording this particular clip right now, I did require it before that. So let's break down a new processor. We'll take Core Ultra 7 processor, 265H. Slip of tongue. Core Ultra 7 265H. Even I took my sweet time to read that name. I have never used a Core Ultra processor. I am blank about this. So, instead of a Core i7, it's just Core 7 or Core Ultra 7. And, well, the numbers 3, 5, 7, and 9 are still consistent. You just remove the I. on, and you can keep it as Core 7 or just add an Ultra for AI processors with what I said, the NPU. And the 265H that I mentioned right after the Core Ultra 7 is once again can be divided into different segments. The 2 here means Series 2. See, the one before this was Series 1. You know what? Let me drag this down a bit for you so you can see here. Yeah, so the AI PC revolution is here. Right, under that tagline, you can see Intel Core Ultra processors Series 2. Consider this like a generation, just like in the previous segment where I mentioned about the I series. The 13th generation was for my processor, the 13. It resembles the same thing when I mentioned series 2 here. Instead of just integrating it into the name uh, the way they did in the I series, they have kept it different. It's the second generation. We are at the second generation of Core Ultra chips. And before this, of course, Series 1. This is the second gen. Now, once again, the SKU number and the suffix, as simple as this. 65 will define your performance tier. The suffix, well, it's the same old thing as the previous one. UHP, UPH, sorry, if you were in order. Pretty much the same thing, but all you need to know is that the new Core Ultra processors are not as confusing as they seem to me. For the longest time, even those names scared me. Despite the fact that I knew how to identify I series chips, I was still scared to deal with the Core Ultra chips. It's as simple as this: Core Ultra 7 265H, Core Ultra 7 performance tier 7. You got 265H, the 2 series or the generation, just for your easy understanding, but the proper term is series 2. 65, the SKU number defines the performance, how powerful it is, even though their SKU number is a bit different compared to the previous I series because the numbers used to be a lot bigger, 500, 700, 900. Here we are at 65. Doesn't mean it's a slow processor or a weak processor because it is still an H series processor. So here's a cheat sheet. I'll just give you a quick recap. When you go to buy a new laptop, you do not have to depend on some genius in the store. Do not depend on them. They will rip you apart. I am exaggerating a bit, but I just I still have a lot of anger on that guy. 3 and 5, the performance tier, your mainstream. 7 and 9 for power. Common for both I series and the Ultra series or the Core series. Just remember the performance tier. 3 and 5 mainstream, 7 and 9 for power. The suffix, you have to focus on the suffix. U, low, P, basic, normal, H, high performance, HK, HX, or even the normal K, overclocked. You don't really need it if you're a normal user like me with a laptop. H series is perfect for you if you're into gaming and stuff. And with the Ultra brand, we have the NPU. Used to dedicate an NPU. You can have a lot of new AI features. Although I am not sure about what exactly does it bring to the table yet. But I guess if you are an AI enthusiast, this should work for you. And as always, if you want me to break down AMD's names, you know what? Nobody's asking. I will do that video. I will make it as my next video. And over the span of maybe the next few weeks, I will be uploading the entire series of the behind the spec sheet. Even graphics cards, everything, basically everything. You will be clear about the basics of how do you identify the name in the spec sheet of a laptop, and you will be as independent as one can be while buying a new device. After the PC series, I will be starting a smartphone series. So you know what? That's it for today. I am tired. I'm exhausted. I'll finish my coffee and just go to sleep. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you in the next video.